greetings. Where are you at right now?
Yeah, greetings. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. You know this place, I'm sure.
Land of Dave Watson and a lot of my blood brothers of the great mystical flight of the arrow. So greetings to you. God bless you,
Yeah.
sir.
Didn't you have a friend? Because I used to work at the school, and there was always this legend, the shop teacher there. He got you to come and speak to the class one day, like speak to the school. And they said you got on the announcements and you started like dropping F-bombs and saying, fuck this shit. And like the principal was running.
No, I was a DARE officer, and when I speak to children, I never use the fuck word. So those legends, it's just like today, somebody said, I hear you're writing the new soundtrack for Kevin Costner's Yellowstone series. Nope, never talked to Kevin Costner, have no idea what they're talking about. Hey, you and Kid Rock are going on a global Liberty tour. Nope. Bob's my buddy. We never ever talked about a Liberty tour. I'm telling you, the world is drunk on stupid. I have a Ted Nugent camp for kids. 35 years we just celebrated. Children between the ages of 7 and 17. And we sell it out every year in 4 states for 35 years. And do you think they would keep bringing the children if I dropped the F-bomb in front of the children? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, no, hold on a second. I think we're having some internet issues here. Let me see if I switch to this. Hopefully I don't lose you here. Are we still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, good. Okay. No, yeah, okay. So maybe that was just an urban I don't know. It just sounded like a funny story that
No, it's not an urban legend. It's not an urban legend. It's an urban lie. Just like when they say I'm a pedophile, I'm a draft dodger, and I'm a racist, and I met Courtney Love. You know, you could prove I've never met Courtney Love. I don't have rabies, and I have both of my arms.
Well, no. So here, we can dispel 2 of these rumors right now because wait, you got a phone call? Is that Kid Rock?
No, I'm good.
Is that Joe Rogan? Who is it? Someone famous?
Might be my buddy Bob. Send him the jet.
You're friends with Kid Rock. What's he like hanging out? The 2 of you hanging out, that would be a blast. I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
It would be a blast. He's a blast. I'm a blast. And you got a double blast. He's a shit kicker from Detroit. He's got a lot of piss and vinegar, a lot of energy. He stands for God, family, country, law and order, all that controversial stuff. That stuff's controversial. That's unbelievably funny. But anyhow, yeah, he is an incredible talent, incredible performer, and he proudly and effectively, dangerously continues the legend of Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels and Brownsville Station and the MC5 and Bob Seger and the Grand Funk Railroad and the Amboy Duke. So yeah, he's got that Motown fire, which is very unique to Motown, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I had his keyboard player on, and that guy's really talented, and he's just the keyboard player. I'm like, this guy's he's playing all the blues and shit. I'm like, I love that kind of old school stuff. I think it's great. Well,
Bob figured it out as all the great artists, all the artists that have impacted our lives with this incredible musical soundtrack, the work ethic, the demand of excellence. I mean, the musicians I've been surrounded with for the last 70 years, I started playing in Detroit when I was like 6 years old. And I didn't know anything, but I was picking up on the Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Little Richard fire. And all the musicians that I've been so honored and humbled to collaborate with, and the Cactus album is a perfect example. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Doug Pinnick and Carmine Appice. But all my musicians, all my bandmates, from the Royal High Boys in 1958 to the Lourdes in 1960, to the Amboy Dukes in 65, to the Ted Nugent Band, to the damn Yankees, to my current lineup with Jason Hartless and Johnny Big, my fellow musicians are scary gifted. I consider all of them martial art musicians. And what you're identifying, the keyboard for Kid Rock, and when we toured with Toby Keith, his band, I jammed with Big and Rich, I jammed with Godsmack, I jammed with Aerosmith, I jammed with Hard, I jammed with ZZ Top, I jammed with Van Halen, I jammed with the best of the best that ever walked the earth. And a musician's work ethic is so under-celebrated, except in the final delivery of the music that we make. But we bust our flame-throwing ass to create the tightest James Brown-worthy rhythm and blues, Motown, Funk Brothers, effective, authoritative, intense, dynamic music. And that's what you witness. So Bob surrounds himself with the best. I surround myself with the best. And all your favorite music has musicians that really are gifted. And we put our heart and soul into every lick, every gig, every jam, every song, every night. It's the standard operating procedure out there.
Yeah, work ethic is that, but obviously you got to have the talent too. I mean, that's why I gave up on guitar a long time ago, because of guys like you. I'm like, I can't compete with people like you.
Well, I got to tell you, I was a stumbler. I think I have a. Let me see. I have it. I have the thing on. I don't know. I don't know. Whoops. I don't know what kind of technology will pick up on this guitar. I'm hoping that's the right cable. We'll find out in a second. No, that's not the right cable. It must be this one. I'm always experimenting. I'm always playing around with amps and guitars. And
I know. Last time you played the guitar on my episode and you shot your bow and arrow. Hopefully,
yeah, I do that. I just got done shooting my bow. We're filming our Ted Nugent Spirit of the Wild TV show. 35 years now, 8 times a week on the Pursuit Network with just delirious fun, truth, logic, common sense, real science, real hands-on conservation, and the mystical flight of the arrow and the guitar are both accomplishable only if, like everything in life. I mean, some famous Jerry West basketball player just died that my sons and all my friends are big fans of. Jordan, what's his name? I don't follow Spectator.
Oh, was this the young kid that dropped dead?
No, this is an older guy, a legend that the NBA poster was made out of. But anyhow, regarding guitars. I don't know how that sounds here, but it sounds awesome in the garage.
Yeah, it sounds fucking amazing. Yeah, that's the shit that I was like, I'm just so amazed by. And especially on this new song, I love it's such a modern, it doesn't even sound like Ted Nugent because you're doing all these crazy effects and it's really cool. People need to check it out. It's called, what is it called? One Way or Another, right?
One Way or Another with the incredible Carmine Appice, one of the gods of rhythm, drum, thunder, and Doug Pinnick on bass guitar and vocals. And how about, did you see Dee Snider sang with Carmine and Doug on a Cactus song called Evil? And no one would ever know that Dee Snider has that much Motown soul. It was like, you can tell he's inspired by Wilson Pickett and James Brown and Mitch Ryder and Rusty Day from Cactus. So yeah, there's a lot of fire in the music. And as we get older, I think it gets even more intense. I'm more intense than I've ever been. I actually got up this morning and I scared me. Because I literally have so much
Not
fun.
just you. I'm sure some other people are scared too. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that only wimps are afraid of Ted Nugent.
Wait, so this is what's so funny. So going back to what you said earlier about the urban lies. So because you get a reputation of you're racist and you're a homophobe, but you're playing a song with Doug Pinnick, who is a black homosexual. So how does that work? How did you?
Well, that's how that works. I got to tell you. The hate and the lies against me, you'd have to ask the people who would falsely accuse me of all this stuff. But I'm probably the nicest fucking guy you'll ever meet. All I do is charity work and jam with killer musicians, and we all have a love affair. You find somebody that has a problem with Ted Nugent, and you found somebody that has no soul, because the worst thing you can do to somebody is to falsely accuse. And all those nasty lies are false accusations. None of them are true. I didn't dodge the draft. Everybody knows that. I never dissed the Native Americans. I have a love affair with the Native Americans. Great White Buffalo is the embrace theme song of almost every tribe in America. I mean, I've done, anyhow, you notice as I'm saying this, I'm not angry at all. I think it's hysterical. Because people that know me, why do you think Carmine and Doug Pinnick would invite me to play on the record if I was a nasty, homophobe, racist? It's just,
right. Well, really, you would have said no. It's not like you needed the money, or so you would have said no. I don't want to work with somebody.
I didn't get paid. Nobody pays. You don't get paid.
No, this is what's so cool. You guys are obviously different backgrounds, but you came together to make music. Music makes the world go round, I feel like.
Sure, and I got to tell you, say different backgrounds, but not really. I'll bet you if you had a long talk with Doug Pinnick, and I had a great talk with him.
Well, I've had him on the show a couple of times. I love Doug. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, nobody cares if you're queer. I mean, nobody cares. All we want to know is if you show up on time, you put your heart and soul into it, you can be trusted. You would be there if your fellow man needs you. That has nothing to do with sexual concerns. None whatsoever. Yeah. color. Nobody thinks about color unless you're a Democrat. I mean, Democrats are the Ku Klux Klan to this very day. The point is that we do come from similar backgrounds. I bet you Carmine, what was Carmine's Vanilla Fudge first hit? You Keep Me Hanging On by the Supremes. I opened up for the Supremes in 1964 in Detroit when my band won the Battle of the Bands. I played with the Funk Brothers. I've played bass for Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley. I got to jam with the greatest musicians in the world. So if you really examine our backgrounds, it all goes back to those black, soulful, gifted, authoritative from Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and B.B. King and Freddie King and Albert King and right up to Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Sam and Dave and the Motown Funk Brothers. I bet you that influences everything that all your favorite musicians are inspired by.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that is the best music back in the day, the 60s and 70s. I mean, that's
still is to this day.
From. Yeah, and then it influenced, and I love the 80s and 90s, but that's all. I mean, the music today is a little lacking, I feel like, but there's stuff like your new project with Cactus, that like things like that come out and you go, wow, this blows you away.
Yeah, hallelujah. Thank God, huh? Because a lot of the music nowadays, I mean, I hear music all the time. I got grandkids and I get kids. And so when I hear some of the top so-called country music, it literally sounds like something you would hear on a child's Saturday morning cartoon show. It doesn't have any piss and vinegar. I mean, I get to jam with Big and Rich. Those guys rock. Toby Keith and rock. When Kid Rock does some of his country influence stuff, his band is still tight and rhythm and blues oriented. So all those soulful elements of our favorite music, they are alive and well. Who's on the road drawing the biggest crowds? Soulful artists with soulful, with gifted work ethic musicians. So those defining elements are alive and well today. It's just that it's not represented by big tech, the media, the music industry, which is just a bunch of idiots, and in the media overall. But thank God, the most important music in the world is still found on what we call classic rock stations. And if you've got 1,000 horsepower, you might want to listen to some Ted Nugent music. My point is that all the things that turn you on in your youth and to this very day, they're still the most important, critical, inspiring, stimulating, meaningful elements to this day. And the new Cactus record proves that. What an amazing band Cactus was.
Yeah. So I saw the music video. Who are the actresses in that video?
I don't know, but somebody sent me the link to the video, and the guy that produced it referenced those girls. So I don't know who they are, but whoever chose them chose well.
Okay, I didn't know if they're. And then, so did you guys film that so that part was a studio, and then the girls was in a different part or something?
Well, I have my own girls. Have you seen Mrs. Have you seen Mrs. Nugent? I mean,
yeah, I love it. Since '89, you guys have been, how long? How many, is that 35 years?
35 years. Yeah. How do you not love Ted Nugent if that's his wife? Anyhow, the point is that all music seems nowadays very rare. Can you all get in the studio and play together? So Carmine played his drum part to the song, and then Doug did it in, I think, an isolated studio. He sang and played his bass, and then they sent me the technology, and I got in a studio in Waco, Texas, and I did my guitar part, and then the video, I got in a studio in Waco, a buddy of mine, and I did the video, and we all did it separately, but then it's edited together. Now, the best obviously is when you're looking at each other and all the best music is, but Carmine is so gifted. Doug is so gifted. I got a little bit of piss and vinegar overflow myself, so when we get in a studio, the best way I can describe this is that it's out of body. You literally become overwhelmed, consumed, and one. That's why I use the term martial arts. Doug is a martial arts musician. Carmine's a martial arts musician. I aspire to be a martial arts musician. So even if we're not looking at each other, we close our eyes and we're one with the pulse of the song. And so we accomplish it just as if we were in the studio together.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love Doug's other work. Have you listened to any of the King's X records or any of their songs?
I've heard some of that stuff, and I could tell right away the guy's got soul. The bottom line is, Doug, you deserve me.
Yeah. Would you guys ever play this live or like as a one-off or something? I mean,
Oh, I'd
there's only
love
one
to.
song.
I think Carmine and his Road Cactus is coming to Detroit here next month, and
Oh,
I'll be showing up with a Birdland. I'm going to scare people.
yeah. Cause did you retire from touring or you're just doing select shows now? Or how does that
Well, I
work?
would never use the R word. I don't retire. I played my guitar this morning. I shot my bow this morning. I'm cleaning my machine gun. So all the important things are still powerful in my life. It's so much fun. It's stupid. Anyhow, no, I did a jam session with my buddies in Detroit yesterday. We're doing the State Fair in Pennsylvania on July 28th. I was voted the #1 artist by the entire state of Pennsylvania. Is that in 2024? Is that adorable or what? And then I was
Wow.
voted the #1 artist in the world for the Biker Fest in Maryland on September 13th. And we're doing a bunch of these Ted Nugent shit kicker speakeasies with John Coots on drums out of Waco and Johnny Big on bass. We get up there. It's like the Amboy Dukes 1965. We throw our gear into the truck and we go to the gig, and 4,000 people show up in Buda, Texas, or in Orange Grove, Texas, or in Hamilton, Texas, a place called The Grain. And we just unleash like a bunch of savage animal kids. We played Stones and Beatles and Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley stuff and Motown. We play all my classics, and it's just a roust. It's the most pure, raw, primal, timeless music in the world. So I'm still doing speakeasies here, there, and everywhere, but I won't tour because I miss my dogs. My dogs cry when I leave. I love my dogs. And I lost my buddy Happy, my Catahoula here 2 months ago, and we really haven't stopped crying yet. I really have a strong love affair with my dogs. And Mrs. Nugent, I hate to be away from her, so I'm not going to go on traveling tours anymore, but I do these one-offs, and it's awesome because I have my band and my crew and the ultimate production, and it's a firestorm. I'm the luckiest guitar player in the world.
Yeah. My condolences. I heard about that. Happy Jackson, the loss of
Yeah,
that
it was,
dog.
he was so there. Actually, there's a people love us so much. They made this beautiful mural of Happy. You see that there?
Oh, yeah.
And I've been given all these crystal images and all these paintings and all these cards. And when you hear the nasty things that are lied about me, it's so stupid because
Right, because people will say you hate animals, but like, why would you cry when your dog died if you hated animals?
how stupid is that? I eat venison. I don't eat dogs. Barack Obama eats dogs, but I don't eat dogs. And I have some friends in Vietnam and China that eat dogs, and it's meat if that's what you want to eat. But we don't have that relationship with our dogs. Even though if you go to a Chinese restaurant, I promise you're going to eat dog at some point and cat. The point is that I'm a hunter, a fisherman, and trapper. I harvest a surplus to maintain a healthy environment. Anybody that's got a problem with that is like brain dead. You got to be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet to think you can stop hunting for one season. I donate tons of venison, which is the purest, most healthy, nutritious, delicious protein in the world. Shemaine and I and my son, my family, we donate tons of venison to soup kitchens and homeless shelters. Do you really know somebody that has a problem with that? Can you realize how soulless, how nasty a person would have to be to go, well, you shouldn't feed the homeless venison? Fuck you. Oh, by the way, I had a bumper crop of fuck yous this year. So if you're short on them, I can have them airlifted into your dining.
No, but that's one thing that too, like I think with the animal rights activists and the vegans, that you and I and them, we all agree on, like, animals should be treated better, even if we're going to eat meat, which I think a majority of humans need that nutrition.
You
I mean, they
think?
should be treated better. If you watch like those Food Incorporated documentaries where they show the chickens just sitting right, they're on top of each other shitting, and there's just piles of shit, and that's the chicken that they're trying to sell to people.
Yeah,
That's
here's the bottom
inhumane.
line. As a hunter, fisherman, and trapper, I provide the most humane, conscientious, moral, quick death of anything that dies. In nature, when you don't hunt, disease runs in, distemper and rabies.
Wait, so you're telling me that the animals don't just die of old age naturally?
When I drove to Detroit yesterday to jam with a bunch of guys, and even going 100 miles an hour in my Hellcat, I counted just visible 111 dead deer. I couldn't keep up with the raccoons and the possums and the skunks and the other dead ant turtles. I mean, there's death every 50 feet. So if you stop hunting for 1 year, can you imagine the terror, the harm, the painful, agonizing death from cars and disease and overpopulation. It's to be against hunting is to literally have no soul. You have no soul. And quite honestly, my son Rocco is a vegan, and his new fiance Belle, they're vegans for dietary. They have dietary considerations. I have no problem with that. I mean, I've never said you have to eat meat, but some of these nutcases go, you're cruel for eating deer. Well, you're cruel for being against a meaningful science-based harvest of the deer, because they're having fawns now. And if I didn't kill a bunch of deer on my swamp, there'd be no room for those fawns, and they would eat all the prime vegetation, and they would end up. It's right. I am a hunter, and I couldn't be more proud. In fact, there's a gay pride month. Is that what that is? Well, I'm having a hunter pride month. I'm celebrating that I'm a hunter, and I'm proud to be an American hunter. And anybody gets got a problem with that, shut the fuck up.
Right. So you're it's like a live and let live. You're letting other people vegan. Your son's vegan, that's fine, but like you just want people to leave you alone.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Or at least not criticize your lifestyle.
Well, again,
there's a lot of people that hunt, and how many of us eat meat? Like 80, 90% of the country? I mean,
probably more than that. It's food. Okay. Venison is food. Beef is food. And more, and not because of the animal rights thing is a scam. The Humane Society of the United States has never saved an animal. All they do is they try to take advantage of people's ignorance and emotion and get people to make gargantuan donations, and then they don't do anything except pay them big salaries and fly across the country private. It's a scam. If you really want to do the right thing for an animal, and I know farmers and ranchers, we get beef down the road from a free-range beef farmer in the South Dakota Cattlemen's Association. If you want to find someone that is kind, loving, and supportive and humane to animals, I give you the ranchers and farmers, the family ranchers and farmers, the hunting families, the fishing families, the trapping families. If you don't harvest the surplus, the new production will have nowhere to live. It's so simple, even guitar players can figure it out. So I just had our 35th annual Ted Nugent Camp for Kids charity, and we've graduated, I don't know, is it 15, 20,000 kids since 1989. And we teach them to hunt, fish, trap, survive, be clean and sober, be conscientious about the environment, to plant trees every spring, to have their own garden, to harvest the surplus, whether it's game, big game, small game, fish. You got to reduce the fish population in any body of water because they're going to reproduce, and the body of water is only so large, it'll only support so much life. Do I have to say this in 2024? How embarrassing that I have to explain the simplicity of sustained yield science. So our Camp for Kids, we now have parents that are bringing their children who were originally children at the camp 20, 25 years ago. So hunting, fishing, and trapping is the ultimate beneficial environmentalism available to man. If you want clean air, soil, and water, it's insane I have to say this. It's not taught in schools, thanks to the teachers union. If you want clean air, soil, and water, and I think, Chuck, everybody wants clean air, soil, and water.
Yes.
Best thing you can do is to buy a hunting license, a fishing license, and a trapping license, because all of our money goes to safeguard habitat, determine the sustained yield science of the annual harvest so that they don't deplete that wildlife habitat, which is the only source of producing clean air, soil, and water. So if you want clean air, soil, and water, thank a hunter, thank a fisherman, thank a trapper, because that's what we do.
Yeah. Do you think I'm seeing like on social media and Instagram and stuff, all these, it's almost like a revolution where people are trying to become more independent and hunt or fish or farm their own or grow their own food in their backyard? Because
hallelujah.
Right? I mean, is that a good thing? Like, I feel like we can all get on board with that.
Yeah, like what Ted Nugent family has been doing for the last 50 years, or actually with me for the last 75 years. Yeah. Rugged individualism, self-sufficiency.
Self-sufficiency, yes.
Yes, that's our most powerful instinct, survival of the fittest, taking good care of yourself so you can take on adversity, and with engineered recidivism by our our pro-crime court system, proof in New York, what they're doing to the great Donald Trump, creating felonies out of nowhere. It's unbelievable. So in the engineered recidivism of the exploding violent crime that is our court system, our anti-justice system, they're letting out rapists and murderers and carjackers, child molesters. They're letting them out every time. So self-sufficiency, self-defense, a higher level of awareness so that you can live a good quality of life, that comes from our original instinct as a provider, as a hunter, as a caretaker. The most efficient hunter became the leader of the clan and the leader of the tribe because he would safeguard the tribe, provide food, clothing, shelter, medicine, food, spirit, from the wildlife that we harvested. That's why they have homages. They revere the wildlife that feed and clothe and shelter and medicate us. That's why you have hieroglyphics. You have paintings on the wall of big stags. That's why I have these animals mounted in my man cave cuckoo's nest. The memories that I have of these hunting trips with my friends and families and terminally ill kids. There's a moose I got in Alaska on September 11th, 1977. My point is that, yes, there is a movement back to independence. What is the most powerful instinct? To be capable of caring for yourself, and as strong as you are, you're better able to care for your family, your neighbors, the earth, your fellow man, safety, security, food. And so as I explain this is why some people hate me. It's too funny.
Right.
It's like,
well, because the opposite would be comedy. The opposite would be dependence. That's what it feels like. There's another movement that's going on that everybody wants you dependent on the government for food, for shelter, for protection. And then the opposite is like, you provide for yourself. I trust myself more than the government. That's just me. But
you think? I bet you secure your home because the government won't secure our borders.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are getting fed up. I mean, you think that this, like I said, maybe it's kind of like a revolution where we go, you know what? We need to start raising men to be more manly. If that I don't know if that's not PC to say, but I feel like.
Hello, Chuck. So do we have a censorship on your podcast?
No,
here?
Fuck shit. Whatever you want to say. I don't care.
Well, here's the answer right here.
Do you think that people will get behind that? There's just so many people. There's so much hate for him. I don't know that I don't know that any politician can save us. I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like we need to save ourselves. Like we just need to become more independent and less dependent on these politicians who are just fucking everything up.
Yeah, you can actually get these hats perfectly autographed, which brings you maximum mojo at tednugent.com. So yeah, I was approached with a guy that had a hat that said, "Reelect that motherfucker," and he asked me to sign it. And there was about 20 people in the gathering, and everybody goes, "Where can I get one of those?" So I started making them. Do you know how many "Reelect that motherfucker" hats I've signed and sold? Over 100,000. Over 100,000 of these personally autographed Ted Nugent flags. And that's what you're expressing about our government. You tell me to do something stupid and immoral, I'm not going to comply. I'm Rosa Parks. That's a black ass. That's a seat on a bus. I can put my black ass on any seat on any bus I want. Fuck you. Just eat, fucking die. This flag is available at tednugent.com. And here's the ultimate. This guitar, I can't make these fast enough. Is that a beautiful guitar?
That is awesome.
I autograph these guitars, and they're available by emailing my son, Toby at tednugent.com. But people you're right, they're getting fed up. And these Ted Nugent autograph things, the "I will not comply, shall not be infringed, eat shit and die," it's so popular right now because they see how evil, how criminal, how corrupt our government is. Anyhow, so that's
well, it's interesting because like I had a couple comedians on my show who are more left, they're more liberal, and they got their specials taken down on you or demonetized on YouTube because for hate speech because they used a bad word. These are liberal people. They're not far right, and I know your Facebook page got suspended. So what is this like? I feel like everything is hate speech now. Like even if you're saying this female comedian called her cat the C word, which I don't want to say because I don't want to get demonetized, and they demonetized her special for hate speech.
Well, for a word that no one has ever been hurt by, but they will show a guy who thinks he's the president. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, calling him a guy. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking he's human. Joe Biden is some kind of devil snake. I mean, look at the footage of this man who thinks he's the president of the United States. I hear from friends in Spain and France and Germany and Portugal and Ireland and Scott. I hear from people around the world. They go, Ted, what happened to America? This thing, this feeble, mentally ill, syllable challenge freak is the president of the United States. And then you have a gang of fellow freaks who will literally look at you, Chuck, and go, no, a man should be able to pretend to be a woman and go into the girls' locker room and rape them. And if the father protests that a boy pretended to be a girl and went into the girls' bathroom and raped him, instead of the rapist, the guy pretending to be a girl, raping a girl twice, instead of him getting in trouble, the father who protests get in trouble. We are in a clusterfuck time in America where there's a segment, a snake, an evil segment of our population that will look you in the eye and go, yeah, men should be able to pretend to be women and destroy women's athletic records. That's perfectly understandable. We have lost our fucking mind. But again, you and I are talking truth, logic, and common sense. I have a Real America's Voice spirit campfire. My wife has this amazing Faith and Freedom, Real America's Voice. People should go there where it's truth, logic, common sense, goodwill, decency. We celebrate all the radical extreme stuff like God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, 10 Commandments, Golden Rule, Declaration of Independence, work ethic, law and order, good over evil, self-defense, all that radical stuff. It's just hysterical. So that's what inspires me every day. That's why I shoot my bow and arrow every day. That's why I train my dogs every day. That's why I hug my wife 100 times every day. That's why I play my guitar every day. That's why I get on with guys like Chuck Shute. Is it Shute or Shoot?
Shoot. No, you had it right. Just like shoot a gun.
Yeah, just because I love to shoot. So I get my bow and arrow, and when I get to full draw, the martial arts of archery, literally the Zen.
Yes.
I become one. And there's no Joe Biden. When I draw my bow, there's no Hillary Clinton. There's no devil. There's no exploding crime. So all my friends right now with Uncle Ted and Chuck Shute, get a damn bow and arrow. I'm shooting in my garage.
I've never shot a bow and arrow except when I was a kid, like a little shitty one. I want to get a good one like that. I need to learn how to hunt. I feel like I have this desire to learn how to do it. I don't know how to hunt. I've never been hunting, but I feel like I should learn.
Yeah, well, and I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to sell a bow. I don't sell bows. I'm telling you, I'm trying to sell sanctuary. In this it's an ugly, ugly world, thanks to the Democrats and the Republicans that compromise for evil greed. And if people don't understand that, you might want to check it out. We need sanctuary. And that's why the Cactus record is so important. You keep exalting about the power of original, soulful, tight, work ethic music. The Cactus album is probably more important right now than ever. I'm so humbled and honored and privileged to jam with Carmine and Doug on one way or another. The video is awesome. The song is awesome. The guys are awesome. The music is intense and wonderful. But I'm not kidding you. Chuck, I love you. Do you know how much I love you? Find a bow, get into archery, get a bow that is mushy. Get an old-fashioned bow, like we're celebrating the Fred Bear anniversary on September 7th in Grayling, Michigan. We're unveiling the Fred Bear statue. And this is an old Fred Bear bow. It's an old recurve, but it's graceful. It's effortless. You don't want to struggle. You want it to come back effortlessly. Maybe a 20-pound bow, maybe 25-pound bow, just something lightweight and great. You don't want to struggle. And get that bow, and you get it right about here, 100% sanctuary. Because all of a sudden, you have to call upon the gifts God gave you. The great Apache chief said, God already gave us everything we need. You might want to find it, respect it, and use it to the best of your ability. I kind of added on to the chief's statement. But when you draw back a bow, like when you play guitar and you practice and you stumble, you're going to miss the target the first 100 arrows. You're going to sound like shit the first 100 hours on the guitar, but you're going to miss the basket the first 100 throws. You're going to hit a shitty golf ball the first 100 times. Everything you develop a mantra of martial arts Zen definitive oneness with the endeavor at hand. But archery, I'm not kidding you, I fight like a motherfucker, and I take on evil, nasty people that hate and lie about me. I mean, how nasty are these people? But it rolls off my back like hygiene from Michael Moore. The point is, when I shoot my bow, am I a fun guy or what? Come on.
It's got these one-liners. I don't know if you have these canned and you just pull them from the file, or you just think of that on the spot. I don't know. It's funny though.
Well, I've been clean and sober for 75.8 years, so my brain actually works good. The point is that I'm really recommending everybody listening right now. Yeah, we want to rock and we want to have fun. You want to party, but clean and sober, you cannot have as much fun as I am unless you're clean and sober, because you're not using all your gifts from God. They're being tempered. They're being reduced. When you're high, you're not actually high. You're actually low.
Right. Well, I think that all this stuff is connected. Like, so many people are using drugs and alcohol. So many people are depressed with anxiety. It's because we're in this digital world that I don't think we're supposed to be this far down. I think we need to get back to nature and hunting and farming.
I plant hundreds of trees every year. These 10 digits of rhythm and blues, rock and roll, soul music, doom are a little sexier than everybody else because I plunge them into the earth. You want to get high. When I plant trees with my kids and grandkids in our Ted Nugent Camp for Kids, and we do it every year. And when you dig into the earth, you know, the gladiator, when he went into battle, he would grab a piece of earth and he would reconnect with the earth. I walk around barefoot all the time on my farm and my ranch. I think it's a new trend called grounding.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what they call it, grounding. That's like a new thing.
But I've done that my whole life.
That's interesting.
Yes.
And so, see, you're happy. You're high energy. You're not lethargic. Yes. You're not depressed.
Yes.
So I want to do what you're doing. That's what people need to do. What you're doing if they want to have energy like this in their 70s.
And if you're not comfortable killing animals, there's millions, tens of millions of hunting families that we will harvest the responsible surplus every year. But your instinct the more you shoot a bow, it brings back the most raw primal instinct that why are you shooting the bow? To kill dinner, to protect your family, and to tune into your utilizing with reverence the gifts that God gave you. It's called hand-eye coordination, but it's all about lung control, breathing, sight acquisition, marksmanship. I train with my machine guns. I don't always go full auto, though I love a brass rainbow. And aim small, miss small. The crosshairs on a scope or the red dot reticle or even the old open sights where I train my grandkids with. There's a hand-eye coordination, breathing, spirit, trigger. It's like guitar playing. I mean, when you play, the best thing a guitar I'm all over the place here. I know I'm going on rants.
But it's all connected. This is like a spiritual thing you're saying with the bow and the guitar. It's all part of.
Maybe I should do the acoustic guitar. But you stumble. You sound like shit when you first start playing. And you get frustrated going, God, I don't sound like my heroes. And you're not gonna for a couple years, but just a simple E chord. Who can't play the Bo Diddley lick? That really sounds cool as shit, doesn't it? But it's because I've been doing it for 72 years. Are you kidding me? And when I first started, I sounded like a complete idiot. But now my instincts and my dreams collide with my work ethic, and all of a sudden I'm one with, the whole guitar job on One Way or Another for the Cactus Tribute album. Take one. I listen to the track. I go, I know that song. Take one. The video, the whole video. I don't know if you've seen the video. It was take I am the music. I am the path of the arrow. I am the love affair with my dogs and my puppy as I'm training them. I am one with the deer that God sent me because I use stealth and knowledge of my position in the wild to rendezvous and ambush that deer. That's actually a gift. God sent that deer to me because I dedicated myself as a reasoning predator. It's the old Native American lifestyle. You put your heart and soul into being a conscientious hunter, and God, the Great Spirit, will guide that animal in front of your arrow. There's stuff going on in this world that the people that hate me, they're missing the whole fucking point. Their life would be so much better if they spent more time in the outdoors and understood that the deer are having hundreds of millions of fawns right now. Well, there wouldn't be any room for them if we didn't kill 50 million deer last year and eat them. It's literally, what I do is perfect. It's perfect stewardship conservation. So instead of hating me, take a deep breath. And I know you don't hate me. You're talking truth, logic, and common sense, self-sufficiency, rugged individual. We have gardens. I've always had gardens. We plant apple trees and pear apples. I think I could sell one pear apple for like $30. They're so delicious. My point is we have wild asparagus, we have leeks, we have wild morel mushrooms. This is how I've lived for my entire life. And to, instead of hating it, stop, think. You're alive, you're going to consume, and instead of hiring, Tyler, what's the name of that chicken company? Instead of hiring a guy to grow 50 million chickens in a cage eating their own shit, learn to hunt with a shotgun, train a dog, which would be so wonderful experience, and go hunt a pheasant. My pheasants don't eat their own shit. All chickens at the grocery store, Tyson, all of them, 100% of your chickens eat their own shit. And then somebody go, I can't believe you eat squirrels. Well, squirrels eat nuts and berries, and they don't eat their own shit. So think of the people that have a problem with me. They're for eating shit, and they're angry because I won't eat shit. This is some funny stuff. This is better than Richard Pryor's Afro Catching Fire. This is the funniest thing in the history of the world.
No, it's so true. I mean, there's literally video footage of this chickens on top of each other with piles of shit. And then they what they do is they pump them full of hormones so much they can't walk. And then they take
chemical
2 steps and they fall over. It's scary.
Your chickens are raised with chemical. We have chickens. We grow our own chickens. They walk around and eat.
Well, and now they're saying, the government is saying, the backyard chicken coops are going to cause bird flu. I'm like, wait, so those chickens are less healthy than the ones eating their own shit stacked on top of each other?
Does this ring any bells?
It doesn't make any sense.
Chuck, thanks for having me on, because we're talking about some important stuff. And we want to promote.
No, it's super important. But it scares me because I feel like there's this government overreach. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. There's an overreach. Are you like prepared for when shit goes down? Do you have like a bomb shelter or something over there in the cuckoo's nest?
I have a bomb shelter and bombs. I've always been aware of the criminal corruption in our government, going all the way back to where the CIA killed Kennedy, and where Lon Horiachi killed Vicky Weaver, and the ATF was trying to raise funds, so they raided the Branch Davidians and burned them all to death. And if anybody wants to debate me on that, Chuck and I will have you on, and we can debate anytime you want.
Oh, that'd be I would love to do that. Yes.
But the evidence is irrefutable. And also the evidence is also irrefutable that Barack Obama married his boyfriend, Mike, and that those aren't their daughters. And people might want to look into that kind of stuff. We have been scammed, and we have been butt-fucked by our corrupt government forever. And Lyndon Baines Johnson, with his Great Society scam, literally said, you keep giving those N-words some crumbs and we'll control them forever. And now, isn't it fascinating that the black community is starting to wake up, that they're the worst enemies of blacks are the Democrats, the original Ku Klux Klan party. And if you want upgrade in quality of life, that's what Donald Trump provided for 4 years for all colors, all creeds, all ethnicity, all walks of life. It's about the government getting the fuck out of your way. When the government says they're here to help you, they will fuck you. The evidence is irrefutable. So the point is, I'm going back to guitar playing. I think in this ugly world, and it's as ugly as I've ever seen it. It's the ugliest because it's in America, so it's worse than Nazi Germany. It's worse than the Emperor of Japan sending his troops to the rape of Nanking. Are you aware of the rape of Nanking?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
You might want to check out the rape of Nanking and the Bataan Death March, because that's what those horrific terrorist devil nations were about. My point is that it happened in those devil dictator tyrannical zones, but it's happening in what was once an experiment in self-government. So yes, the Cactus album will soothe your soul. Get the Cactus record.
Right.
But do not underestimate the healing powers, the definitive healing powers of what our TV show is called, the Spirit of the Wild. I don't care how, nobody's more intense than I am. Case fucking closed. And in between my firestorms, which was my music, my politics, my experimenting in self-government, my demanding truth, logic, and common sense, I'm planting trees. I'm planting rutabagas. I'm harvesting wild asparagus and leeks and morel mushrooms. I'm shooting a squirrel, the purest, most delicious meat in the world. And I'm training dogs. And my marksmanship mantra, all ugliness vanishes. My archery mantra, all ugliness and evil vanishes. Playing my guitar, it's all pure. It's healing. There's no Hillary Clinton scamming Joe Biden, Hunter laptop, horror, criminality, raping and pillaging hardworking Americans' paychecks. You need to play guitar, shoot a bow, train a dog, plant a garden, woodwork. Somebody's got a park nearby. There's a river nearby, everybody. Just go there. And I wear Walker's game ears, and when I walk outside my man cave cuckoo's nest arsenal of democracy, I'm in a swamp. I own a 1,600 acre. It's so beautiful. It's like nuts. And all I hear, Chuck, and I sit by my bird feeder with my wife, and I have some Minutemen coffee with a little dollop of Amish heavy cream, and life is fucking perfect. You've got to find that sanctuary, and it's absolutely available to everybody. Nature is healer, Zen archery, martial arts marksmanship, the joys of making a music. Even if you stumble, you're gonna stumble, but just learn. No, you're not going to be able to do that for a while. No. The opening, I get carried away. Look, I got fucking goosebumps, and I'm an old man.
Have you ever thought of like starting a side, like a blues project or something, like, or have you done that?
I haven't. I've done a little bluesy kind of stuff in the past, but my wife Shemaine and my kids, they tell me, Dad, you should play more blues because that's what I was raised on, and that's what that is, basically honky tonk boogie woogie stuff. But yeah, channel B.B. King and get the. I could go on, and I do every day. I get away from, because I get really fucking angry at the evil that we're surrounded by our corrupt, criminal, evil, devil government. I mean, you've got a statue of Satan in the Target store where the children's clothing department is. You got these drag queen events where these fat, perverted men are twerking their balls to little boys and girls singing "It Won't Lick Itself," and somebody says, well, that's harmless. I can't think of anything more harmful. It's going on. You have to fight this shit, and you need sanctuary and healing in order to fight evil. That's why I'm such a force to reckon with, because you know who hates me? Evil people who falsely accuse because they know that I'm crushing their evil. I couldn't be more proud or motivated.
But are you worried that these evil people are going to come after you? I mean, you look at like China with the social credit scores and stuff, and like Canada, they froze the bank accounts of truckers. Does that shit worry you at all?
It concerns me, but I am so independent. Let's put it this way. I would like to give my schedule out to the public in case somebody wants to fuck with me, because I get to train with Delta Force and the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets and the Army Rangers. I qualify with the SWAT team every year as a sheriff deputy, and I'm not bragging, but shooting is fun. Marksmanship is a great discipline, and tactical marksmanship and tactical procedures. It's a great learning. It makes you strong and alive. And I have a moral obligation to defend my wife and my family, myself, and innocents, wherever they may be. So I'm not worried that somebody's going to shoot me, but I'm never unarmed. I'm never sleeping.
I don't think they would do that. That'd be stupid. But I'm saying, like, if the government just said, like, you know what? Because they already deleted your Facebook, right? So what if they start saying, like, hey, we don't like these interviews that you did. We're freezing your bank account. I mean, do you think they could do that? Is that? I mean, you'd think it's crazy, but 4 years ago, people were about ready to kill each other over a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah. No, it concerns me, but I'm not paranoid. For example, I have a fire extinguisher in all my trucks and all my cars. I have a fire extinguisher in my barn, my cuckoo's nest, my man cave. I have a fire extinguisher in the cabin, but I've never had a fire. I train with a firearm every day because it's fun, and I've never had to shoot anybody. But if a flame erupts, I will be able to put it out both literally and figuratively. So again, there's that celebration you mentioned, self-sufficiency. Independence. I'm an independent guy, and if they freeze my bank account, they've already falsely charged me in California with illegally killing a deer, which was 100% trumped up. They were doing to me way before they did it to Donald Trump. They did it in Alaska, said I killed a bear illegally, totally false accusation. The state of California didn't, I mean, the California and Alaska didn't charge me. It was Barack Obama and Eric Holder's a state, what do they call him? Attorney, national attorney, federal attorneys. Jack Schmidt. Jack Schmidt is a prick. Jack Schmidt is a punk. And he's the one who charged me because Barack Obama told him to. So I've already been in the crosshairs. They had the Secret Service visit me and interview me because they thought I threatened the presidents when I said, if this punk gets elected, I'll either be dead or in jail, because there were actual farmers that were being held at gunpoint for selling milk on their farm in Pennsylvania. So these are the people that contact me every day. There was a guy in Oregon who was arrested because he caught rainwater in a barrel. It was against the law to capture rainwater, and they raided his farm. So these guys would share this stuff with me, and they go, Ted, aren't you kind of afraid they're going to come after you because you're standing up for us? And I went, no, bring it on, motherfuckers. Let's see how good you are.
Well, here's the thing is I feel like, because I had Tommy Chong on, Cheech and Chong, and he told the story about how he got arrested, and it was total entrapment. And then people ask him, like, what's it like going to prison? He goes, you'll find out. Like, yeah, that's what they're going to come for. It seems like they're coming for people for they're making shit up. It's scary. I don't know.
Making shit up. And
it's both parties are doing this. Like, and that's why I'm saying, what about like some sort of alliance with Republicans and Democrats? We come together and we say, this shit should not happen. We shouldn't go after good citizens for ticky-tack shit.
Well, listen to every Democrat and tell me how that could possibly, they actually revel in false accusations against the January 6th protesters. They've been in gulags because they are exercising their First Amendment. What they're doing to Donald Trump, what they've done to me, they're well on the track of abuse of power. They've been doing it forever, but it's at a scariest point right now. So
and also they're letting like you said, they're letting the violent criminals go. And that's scary, not just to me and not just the people on the right. The people on the left that hate Trump are going, shit's getting kind of bad right now. Like,
well, that's the bottom line, Chuck, is that I would implore everybody to take a deep breath. And when you hear a nasty, hateful lie against me, consider it a hateful, nasty lie. I'm not guilty of any of those false accusations. And Donald Trump is not guilty of any false accusations. He made two blunders, and that is that he listened to Dr. Fauci, who is just an evil, genocidal devil, who used our tax dollars to help communist China create a weaponized virus. And it didn't get leaked. We don't leak weapons. They unleashed it on purpose to kill people. Anybody want to debate me on that? I'll be more than happy to. So the bottom line is, we need to vote for Donald Trump because he will make America safe. He will make America strong. He will reduce crime. He will secure the border. He will encourage an entrepreneurial work ethic. And he will make sure that our system of capitalism rewards hard workers instead of punishing hard workers and rewarding bloodsuckers and illegal invaders from the Congo and Nigeria and the Sudan and Syria and communist Chinese by the tens of millions. It's planet of the cuckoo's nest out there. So I'm not kidding. If you people want a safe and strong America, we better vote for Donald Trump in November. I'm telling you, you can squawk and hate me all you want, but I'm going to say it again. If you really want America to be strong again, this is how simple it is right there.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I mean, I hope you're right. Or I hope that I'm rooting for America either way. I don't know if changing the president is enough to solve it. I feel like I said earlier, the revolution of, men learning how to be more independent and be more manly. I feel like that is a good thing to see. I like seeing that. I like seeing people.
I don't know. I know we have a love affair with truth, logic, and common sense. And
we do. Yes.
But we also have to admit that my name is Ted Nugent and I have effervescent masculinity.
You do. No, and you're in your 70s and you're more manly and stronger probably than a lot of kids in their 20s.
Because I work with the earth, because I'm a farmer, rancher, I'm a hunter, a fisherman, and trapper. I've killed 60 raccoons just since I got here 3 weeks ago because they are so dangerously overpopulated. They'll kill every baby rabbit, every songbird, eat every waterfowl nest egg. They're just devastated on the environment since there's no value for raccoon fur anymore, even though it's luxurious, wonderful, renewable, natural fur, they're so overpopulated. I can't even count them on the highway. There are billions, if not trillions, of dead coons and possums and skunks and squirrels and rabbits and deer. Tens of millions of deer slaughtered on the highways over the years. So the point is that rugged individualism, self-sufficiency is the purest of instincts. And I appreciate you letting me rant about this stuff because a lot of people that are in the music, they think that comfortably numb is the goal, when actually comfortably numb is actually uncomfortably dumb. When you're high, you're in the liability column. You're not good for your family. You're not good for your neighbors. You're not good for your nation. You're not good for your band. When you're high, you're not an asset, you're a liability. And I have dear friends that like to smoke dope, and I don't knock them, but if they're going to come to my hunting camp, there won't be any dope smoking or beer drinking. I mean, I want people cocked, locked, and ready to rock the Glock around the clock, Dr. Spock. We won't have to kill the whole flock. I want people tuned in. That's how my band is, my crew, my best friends, my kids, all my buddies. I have a Sunrise Acres, Sunrise Safaris hunting operation where we will share campfires with hundreds and hundreds of American families again this fall, every year. Campfires every weekend. The greatest hardworking people in the world. And nobody's stoned, nobody's high. It's laughter, it's goodwill, it's fun, it's bullshit. And, they do, after the hunt's over, they do have a cold beer with their kielbasa, their wild boar kielbasa. And I think liquor, especially beers, at the Thanksgiving dinner table, my sons, my buddies, my band, they drink beer. I don't drink beer. It hits me kind of heavy. I did have a cold Miller Lite one time. It was delicious. But anyhow, so I'm not knocking that.
Yeah, but that's like a thing. Like one beer or something occasionally. But these people that it's like, and I used to be that. I used to be like every weekend. I'm like, I gotta drink a whole bunch.
No,
just to numb. And I didn't. I was
you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I never got into the hard drugs and all the shit that like all these rock stars get into, but I talk to all these rock stars and they go through this phase, they do all the drugs and the alcohol, and then they either get out of it and they go 100% sober or they die. That seems to be the path.
Hello, which
Yeah.
was why I promote. I've never gotten high or drunk. Well, I did get drunk on some kind of Boone's Farm or something in '67. The Amboy Dukes played a picnic or some kind of down in Palm Beach, and I had a glass of. I didn't get drunk, stupid, puking or nothing, but I didn't like how I felt. I mean, I'm already loose. I mean, I don't need any inspiration.
Yeah.
Crazy. I could be crazier than any motherfucker, but I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to hit you with my car. I'm in tune, but I can be crazy, but I'm in tune. That's the highest of highs.
Yeah.
The highest of highs are going crazy, but controlled crazy, so you don't hurt nobody.
That's great. Yeah. Well, before you get off here, I had to ask you. I don't think I got to ask you this last time you were on, but damn Yankees. I love that band. Love those 2 albums you guys
Great,
made.
man.
I know there was a third one that was never released. Is there any talk of doing maybe like a one-off or like maybe one song or something, like any sort of damn Yankees news?
I love Tommy Shaw, one of the greatest musical forces, one of the greatest guitar players in the world, and certainly one of the greatest vocalists. What a soulful monster Tommy Shaw is. I love that guy. Jack Blades is a whirlwind of musicality. This guy, I think he farts in tune. I mean, this guy is a musical force. He has this musical thing, and he's such a groove that we're all raised by black heroes. So there's a grind. There's a Motown funk brother, James Brown, a dream of tightness, and we've actually accomplished the dream. And Michael Cartellone, after the damn Yankees tour in '93, he played drums for me on my next 2 or 3 tours, and then Leonard Skinner hired him, and he's on the road constantly. So Tommy Shaw, Michael Cartellone, Jack Blades, and I, we love each other. At least I love them guys. And I jammed with Jack Blade here recently in Jackson, Michigan. We played Coming of Age and Cat Scratch Fever, and it's on YouTube somewhere, and it was fucking awesome. And I played Coming of Age on a Gibson Birdland, so it was just a powerhouse. But the point is, we'd all love to. But Jack is gung-ho Night Ranger. Michael is gung-ho Leonard Skinner. Tommy is gung-ho Styx. He's on the road all the time. And I'm just gung-ho. I play my music all the time, and I love to jam with people. But I have
What if you did a tour with Styx, Night Ranger, Ted Nugent, and Leonard Skinner, and then at the end, you guys got together for like a few songs?
Would that be a motherfucker or
right? I'd buy a ticket.
No, but we'd love to get back together, but we're very proud of the music we created. Just killer quality, soulful, energized, tight, authoritative damn Yankees music. I love those guys. It's not off the table. It's highly unlikely, but it's also highly desirable. So it'd have to be an alignment of the planets where the 4 of us who have just maniac schedules, that somehow we could find a hole for whatever amount of time, 30 days or whatever. I'd love to do it. I don't tour anymore because I miss my family so much, and I got all these grandkids, and I got to teach them to shoot and clean squirrels. So I'm really a busy guy with my musical conservation life dream. So we'll talk about it. It's highly unlikely, but it's highly desirable. I think that's the best way to identify it.
What about, before I let you go, real quick, did you have any other like podcasts lined up? Like, are you going to do Joe Rogan again? Or have you ever done, have you ever looked at going on the Andy Frisella? Have you ever watched his stuff? I think you'd like him.
I'm not familiar with that, but I'd love to do them all because I got a big mouth and I love to talk about the things that turn me on. And when people talk about my music, I get very excitable. I don't know if you notice that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to paying attention to the American dream, I know what the threats are and what the crimes are, and I also know how to fix them. I also know how to maximize the American dream. It's about heart and soul. So I love to talk about the things that inspire my quality of life and that I think is universal in pursuing quality of life. I think we've established that here today with you. And I
absolutely.
Thank you for that, Chuck. So no, I've been on Joe's twice, and he's invited me back. It's just a matter of getting scheduling. And there's so many different ones that I do. I have my own Real America's Voice, Spirit Campfire, and I always insert some outrageous stuff. as if I can't, in my Spirit of the Wild TV show on the Pursuit Channel, which is 8 times a week, all year long. It's just a riot. My wife's Queen of the Forest segment. If it wasn't my show, I'd watch it just to watch her, because when she draws a bow back, something about the female anatomy at full draw, it kind of emphasizes that femality. Anyhow, I digress. She's so beautiful. And
Yeah.
she's so good. She's such a killer with her bow. And she's so articulate. She has caused so many non-hunters and anti-hunters to admit to the scientific truth of sustained yield and habitat carrying capacity and the perfect diet of wild game. It's the last perfect diet available to mankind. And my wife is so sexy, so beautiful. She's going to be 62 here next month, and she's like a teenage cheerleading animal of sorts. And because of our diet, our lifestyle, and her dedication to physical fitness and health, and making sure that we don't allow anything in our house that says FDA or USDA on it, because that's chemical warfare. So yeah, Spirit of the Wild, we insert the things we believe in, and guys like you, I thank you so much, Chuck.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you so much for doing this. The song is out now and the music video as well. Cactus with Doug Pinnick and Carmine Appice. Amazing stuff. And forward to seeing new music or apparently occasional live shows, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I'll be doing gigs here and there. I'm going to do the Ted Nugent Shit Kicker Speakies. It's so much fun. In fact, I just got this new hat in. This is so adorable. It says, Ted Nugent, American Shit Kicker, established in 1948, truth, logic, and common sense. I literally have an assembly line. We donate all these autographed goods to charities. Do you know, and again, it's not me, it's the people who pay, but I've raised over $30 million just by signing antlers and skulls and guns and bullets and bows and arrows and hats and flags. $30 million for children's charities, military charities, law enforcement charities when a hero of law enforcement is injured or killed in the line of duty. And that's not because I'm generous. It's because the people that pay ridiculous amounts of money for an autographed Ted Nugent flag that goes to the unbelievable worthy causes. So if people want to find out about that, you can go to tednugent.com, because that represents, again, Chuck, why are those people so generous when they buy a Ted Nugent autographed hat or a flag or a gun? Those are my people. Those are good, loving, caring, generous, giving, funny, cocky, hardworking people. That's my world, and I couldn't be more humbled and proud that those people support me. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Good stuff. Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
Chuck, you live it up, brother. I'm here
All
if
right.
you need me.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you later.
Yep, Godspeed.
All right, bye.